Good morning and welcome to this Stahls TV live class all about breast cancer awareness and how you, as a heat printing professional, can both donate to the cause, bring awareness to the cause, and make a little profit at the same time. As most of you probably know, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month is coming up in October, and the color associated with that is pink. You can see a lot of the pink shirts behind me here. We have a lot of hands-on application to get to today, so we're going to get right to it. The first screen print heat transfer that we're going to apply was made by the WildSide, and in just a little bit, probably within the next 5 minutes, we're going to visit the WildSide's website. I'll show you where you can order these screen printed heat transfers, but they have a ton of stock transfers sitting there waiting for you to order and to be shipped directly to you. The minimum order requirements are very small, and you can mix and match your stock transfers to decorate pretty much any type of apparel. So this particular transfer is going to go on this hoodie. We're going to apply it on the front, and we'll switch to the heat press and just get started with the applications. All right, so the WildSide hot split or hot peel screen print heat transfers apply at 380 degrees for about 10 seconds, and we're going to hot peel. So I'm threading my garment on. I'm going to bring the heat press back and give a quick preheat. Put our press in tack mode and give a preheat for 3 to 4 seconds. And what we're doing is getting rid of any moisture or wrinkles that have gathered in that shirt. We're going to take our WildSide screen print heat transfer, and I'm just going to do a center chest placement on this one. Bring the press back. Again, 380 degrees for about 10 to 12 seconds. We're using 60 psi. The next transfer that we're going to do is actually from another screen print transfer company that's part of the Group Stahl family of companies, and that is Transfer Express. We're going to be applying some of their goof-proof transfers. So we've applied and we are hot peeling. You can see that some of the image is left on the paper. That's the hot split nature of this, which gives this a very light feel on the garment because not all of the ink is technically transferring to the garment, just enough to show the image. So we're going to peel that off. Our next transfer that we're going to apply is a goof-proof transfer from Transfer Express. And I'm bringing the press back because I want to update the settings. The WildSide transfer applied at 380 degrees Fahrenheit. Here with our Fusion IQ controller, we have the recipes for a lot of the Stahls heat transfer family products. Goof-proof is already built in, so I'm going to go into my menu and select goof-proof. You can hear the machine adjusting the PSI. I'm actually going to take it down just a little bit because we don't need quite that much pressure. So I'm going to be at about 50 PSI, and a goof-proof transfer from Transfer Express applies at 365 degrees, and it only requires about 4 seconds under the press. So one of the advantages of using screen print transfers is that you actually become a screen printer without a screen print press. So you don't have to burn screens, you don't have the mess of inks laying around in your shop. You have none of the traditional problems associated or headaches associated with screen printing. All you do is you get this piece of paper. This particular design was one that we used the Transfer Express Easy Prints designer on and just flipped out our text. So the template was already there, and we could change the text and the ink color to whatever we want. So you don't even need an art department or your own artwork to utilize WildSide stock transfers or even Transfer Express Easy Prints transfers. So we're going to load our garment. This one's on the front. And I am threading the garment to where I'm making sure I'm getting even time, temperature, and pressure, making sure as many of the seams, zippers, buttons are off of the press as possible. Again, I'm going to bring the press back and give a quick preheat. I'm just going to go ahead and give the whole 4-second preheat here for the goof-proof transfer. All right, and that is going to swing away. My temperatures had an opportunity to come down on the press from 380 to about 370. which would work just fine here. So centering it up. The nice thing about the Transfer Express Easy Prints transfers is you're always getting the same amount of space from end to end on the paper. So if you center the paper with your shirt, you are also in turn centering your design. All right, so we're going to bring the heat press back. And again, this is a quick 4-second application. So I'm effectively screen printing this shirt in 4 seconds. And we are going to peel this hot. And then one of the other nice things that Transfer Express has, if you don't want custom transfers, you can add one of these ribbons to pretty much any apparel item that you're going to be decorating. So these are in stock. Again, I'll show you on the website here shortly where you can find those, but these ribbons are in stock at Transfer Express. We are going to take this garment off, and I am going to do an application of the ribbon on the sleeve. So this sleeve with these seams isn't going to work very well on this 16 by 20 platen, so we'll replace that out with a leg and sleeve platen. So I'm going to release the bottom platen, take it off the press, grab my leg and sleeve platen, which is a 6 by 20, drop it on there, make sure we're locked in. There we go. And I'm going to load the sleeve up from the neck. So it's fully threadable underneath. We have this hood, so I'm going to put the hood up here to where I'm only dealing with a very small part of the seam there. And with the air pressure that we're using with our air fusion, we'll have plenty of pressure to get this ribbon to stick and stay. All right, so I'm just going to put it a couple inches above the piping that is on the sleeves. Again, this is the same type of transfer formula that we put on the front of the shirt. It's our goof proof. So 4 seconds and a hot peel. Peel that off, and we've added one of the breast cancer awareness ribbons to pretty much any apparel item there. So one quick change I'm going to make on the press, because we have some more applications to do later here in the broadcast. I am going to drop my temperature down from 365 to about 330 degrees. We're going to be applying some rhinestone transfers and also some metallic transfers that are all tied to breast cancer awareness. And I'm dropping my pressure here as well. Right. And I'm going to change my time to 10 seconds for future applications. So what I'm giving this time to do is basically cool down from 365 all the way down to 330 degrees. So for now, let's head over to the table. We'll go to the computer, and I'll show you a little bit about the WildSide's website, also Transfer Express's website, and where you can find the transfers that we're applying today. Are the designs 3 inches down from the top of the paper? How would you know how far down on the garment you would need to place the designs from the neckline? So typically, Mike, when we're doing a placement for a center chest, we would find out where exactly the top of the design is, and a good rule of thumb is just to use 4 fingers down from the top of the neck. On smaller garments you can use 3, but that's a quick, easy measurement. It's not going to be exactly the same the whole time, and when you're going on double XL shirts or anything larger, you may want to use your whole hand, but 3, 4, or 5 fingers will get you pretty accurate placement on a center chest. All right, so I think we're ready to go to the website now. Okay, so this is the WildSide.com. And what the WildSide specializes in is stock heat transfers. So we're going to go to our shop page here and go to stock transfers. You see also that they offer rhinestones, foil and accessories, heat presses. But the stock transfers is what we already applied today. And if you look down on the left side, there's actually a whole section. There's 75 different designs available for cancer awareness. So we'll click on that section. And here at the WildSide.com, you can just scroll down through and see all of the different options that you have available to you. Pricing is populated here for you as well, and there's also sizing here and a recommendation on which type of garment to apply the design to. So all different types of designs here at wildside.com. Again, it's very simple to set up an account at the WildSide if you haven't already, and you are becoming a screen printer just by buying some stock transfers from the WildSide that you can use for breast cancer awareness or anything else. They have such a large variety of stock transfer categories that there's probably not an event in someone's life that you can't find something here for, or a profession for that matter. All right, we're going to head over to Transfer Express's site just to show you where you can pick up those ribbons as well. So at transferexpress.com, you can go to the Transfers tab in the top left-hand corner of the page, and you want to go to Stock Transfers. If we go to Heat Transfers, it's going to show us all the different printing types that are available, the formulas, and can get to our Easy View designer there. But Stock Transfers for the ribbons, if all you need are ribbons, excuse me, you can go to the Screen Printed Awareness Ribbons section right here. It's the second one there, and it's $3 per 10 ribbon pack. So these are 3-inch goof-proof transfers in bubblegum pink color. So you can get 10 ribbons for $3. And if you're thinking about what do I charge for applying a ribbon to somewhere on a particular garment, a nice rule of thumb, if your market will allow you to command it, would be to just add $5 per heat application place. So you can just add $5 and add a ribbon onto a left chest, onto a sleeve, onto the bottom corner of a shirt, or whatever item that it is you're applying. But $5 is a nice base point, especially if you're only paying $3 for a 10 ribbon pack for transfers. So one of the reasons that breast cancer awareness has gotten so popular, and it's one of the biggest, I think at least, awareness months, especially if you're watching NFL football. They're one of the major sports leagues that devotes pretty much a whole month to bringing awareness to breast cancer research. Susan G. Komen Foundation is the one who raises the most money for breast cancer research. They actually raise about $258 million each year for research. And just some statistics on why breast cancer awareness is important. About 3.1 million people in the United States right now are survivors of breast cancer, and 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with it sometime in their lifetime. So it is, as I'm sure most of you have experienced or know someone who has suffered through some type of cancer, breast cancer is one that our country has chosen to draw a lot of awareness to because it wasn't getting a lot of attention in the late 70s and early 80s. Susan G. Komen, I think, was started in 1983, and since then they have raised, I think it's close to $1 billion for research now at this point. So where a decorator can fit in with raising awareness is specifically for events like 5Ks where they're raising money for research, or any group that is putting together some type of event to raise money. That's where decorators really fit in well with raising awareness for breast cancer. So we've looked at WildSide stock screen print transfer for breast cancer awareness. We have looked at Transfer Express's screen print transfers for breast cancer awareness. The next step, we're going back to WildSide, and we're going to take a look at 2 transfer types that are available from the WildSide. One is a metallic heat transfer, and one is a rhinestone heat transfer. So let's see. Yeah, our press is just about back down to temperature, so we're going to head back over to the press. I'll change the platen out, and we'll do a couple more applications for you. Again, this time rhinestone transfer and a metallic transfer before we come back and talk about a solution for those of you who already have a vinyl cutter directly from Stahls. So let's head to the press. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is get our press head out of the way, go back to our 16 by 20 platen. Just left it laying right over here. All right, make sure it's locked in. And I am going to grab a tank top to put our rhinestone transfer on. And again, everything today is breast cancer awareness themed. I mean, we're here in the middle of August. As we said earlier, Breast Cancer Awareness Month is coming up in October, so now is the time to start getting those orders to print for the 5Ks and events that people may be having to draw awareness to it. All right, let's bring this over. I'm going to give a quick preheat again. Okay. Again, putting the press in tack mode just to give it 2 or 3 seconds to get out any moisture and wrinkles. Then we are going to take our rhinestone transfer from the WildSide, and this one is tying in ribbons. When you're peeling these from the backing, peel these ones slowly, just because you don't want to lose any stones along the way. I'm going to get rid of that bottom sheet. Flip the design over. Now this carrier is a bit sticky to hold the rhinestones on, so if you do happen to lose something in production or in transport, you can stick them back on. Right. I'm going to give this a cover sheet just in case. Bring this back. And this particular product, as well as the next one, the metallic that we're going to be pressing, is a cold peel as well. So this calls for light pressure. So I'm downing my pressure from about a 40 psi to 30 here on the air fusion machine. So if you have a machine that reads out in single digits that's not air operated, for this application you'd be looking at a 2 or a 3 for pressure. Right. So we're locking down for about 10 seconds. And then I'm going to take the shirt off of the press and move it, and we'll move on to our next transfer and come back and peel it in a little bit because this is a cold peel product. All right, get our cover sheet out of the way. Take this off carefully, and I'm going to bring another shirt right back. Okay, so the next transfer that we're going to apply, again from the wildside.com, is a metallic transfer. And this actually has, we'll see once we apply it, some dimension to it. There's some thickness, some fabric there beneath the metallic. So it's a really, really cool dimensional finish that we're going to have once applied. This one we're just putting on a standard black t-shirt. Bring the press back to do our preheat. And it is the same application instructions as the rhinestone transfer. So the metallic and the rhinestones are applying for the same amount of time, temperature, and pressure. So we're going to bring our transfer over. Again, you have a sticky carrier here. Right. And we're going to go at 30 psi again for about 10 to 12 seconds. And this too is a cold peel. So as soon as this one's done, I'm going to reset my heat again because we're going to be applying patterns next, which the Express Print Patterns applies at about 300 degrees. It will work at a slightly higher temperature, but we're going to let it get down as far as we can, and we'll head over to the computer and show you the different types of patterns that are available from Stahls if you have your own vinyl cutter and would like to cut your own awareness patterns. All right, dropping this to 300. All right. And let's head back over to the computer while our other items are cooling. Okay, so we're going to visit Stahls.com. And if you go to the top left-hand side of the page, you're going to look at CAD cut material, vinyl, and twill. And what we're looking for our pattern prints. So if you click here and you click on patterns, this is the page that it brings you to, CAD cut patterns, heat transfer, vinyl. So these patterns are available in 3 different material types. The ones that we're going to be applying today are the Express Print patterns, but you can also get this in a glitter product that's heat transferable, and also sign vinyl, Orajet 3164 sign vinyl if you wanted to make decals. So on the patterns page, to find the awareness patterns, you're going to go to the Stahls Creative Studios. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Stahls patterns page, you can check it out on a weekly basis. There are always new patterns being added. If you have any ideas for patterns that should be added, you can feel free to share those with us here on our Stahls All Things Heat Printing Facebook page as well. So we're going to select the Creative Studios. We're going to the Awareness tab. And we do have awareness patterns for more than just Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which you'll find here on the page. Autism awareness is one of the other big ones, at least for a lot of the companies that we work with here at Stahls. Autism patterns sell very well. But as far as breast cancer awareness patterns go, there are quite a few. Most of them are ribbons tied with plaids and florals. The one that we are cutting today, or that we cut today already, I cut it a little bit earlier to where it was ready for the show here, is this striped pattern with ribbons in it. One of the really cool things, in my opinion, about this pattern designer is that we can go in and change any one of these colors if we wanted to. Now, breast cancer awareness is very closely tied to pink, so I am not going to change anything, but we do have some popular color combinations that you can change to if you wanted to. But the one that we used was pink. So we click next. And then here is the material selection tab, is where we're choosing if we want it in express print, which would just be a standard digital transfer. It's a flat finish that's going to come out full color. You can get your glitter finish here as well. Pricing updates accordingly. Or if you wanted to do decals for car windows or whatever else, any hard flat surface really, you can choose the Orajet sign vinyl. So we would have placed our order for those patterns. I have a couple of them printed here to show you as well. So this is the one that we actually cut out of. You can see it comes in nice roll form. When you are loading this particular material, the patterns on your vinyl cutter, you want to cut the pattern right reading. Whatever design you're doing, you want to cut right reading, because you also need to add a mask portion to this. So you're going to cut your design, weed away the excess, and then we have another pattern here as well. Weed away the excess, and then you're going to apply a sticky mask on top of it to remove the transfer from the carrier sheet. So this is the one that we just made in the office here today, and this mask was applied on top of it to lift it off of the carrier after we cut it. So I think we're ready to go back to the press and apply this. And then after that is finished, we'll show you a couple more designs, peel away our WildSide transfers, and answer any other questions that you might have. So let's head over to the press. Lay my transfer to the side. All right, we're down to about 318, which is perfectly fine for applying express print. Again, the recommended application is at 300, but giving it a little bit more heat is not going to hurt the application. Giving it a lot more heat can, especially if you're going on a dark garment, then you start to, you could potentially, if you put too much heat or pressure on your transfer on a dark garment, then you can start to get some strike through or bleed through, which is no good. So you want to be as close to that application temperature as possible. I almost forgot to preheat. All right, so let's lock down for 4 seconds here to preheat the garment. All right, and put our transfer on. So as we just said earlier, for the top of the design, I would typically go down about 4 fingers there. So I'm going to take it down just a little bit. All right, about right there. And we are going to cover this up. Bring our press back over and give it the full application time. Okay, this particular product is a hot peel based on the mask that we have placed on it. So we can peel the mask off of this right away. All right. Finished shirt there. All right, so I'm going to bring back the WildSide transfers here to the press so we can peel them off and show you what they look like. Right. This is the metallic transfer, which was the second one that we applied. Again, everything here is cold peel, so I just needed to give it time to cool off before we peel away that carrier sheet. All right. So that's the WildSide metallic transfer, again, available at thewildside.com. Most of what the WildSide does is stock transfers. So everything is in stock, ready to ship. You don't have to wait for it to be custom produced. Find a design you like and just order it. And our rhinestone transfer. If you have designs that you want custom printed in rhinestones, the WildSide does offer custom rhinestone transfers, and so does Transfer Express. So you definitely have options there. So this is our rhinestone transfer from the WildSide. This is our metallic transfer from the WildSide as well. And I'm going to bring that Express print one back over here just to show it to you. This was our Express Print Patterns design. All right. And here are just a couple more of some of the options without showing them to you on the website, a couple of the options available from the WildSide. Again, these are going to apply at 10 seconds. These ones are hot peel. At 380 degrees, they're going to apply to any cotton poly blend. Same thing with the rhinestones, 10 seconds. A much lower temperature at 330 degrees and a cold peel that's available there. All right, let's head back to the table. Do we have a graphic for our workshop? Okay, so one thing we wanted to tell you about, and we'll answer a few questions before we close up for the day, but we are doing a heat transfer vinyl 201 class that's happening at all of the Stahls showroom locations across the US. You can see those locations there: Arizona, Corona, California, Daytona, Florida, Sterling Heights, Michigan, and Irving, Texas. That's happening on Wednesday, October 10th from 2 to 5 p.m. So this particular class is going to be for someone who is already familiar with using heat transfer vinyl, and it goes a little bit more in depth on some of the specialty materials and different types of applications. All right, so I see a question here from Linda. Do you use butcher paper or can you use a Teflon sheet on these designs? So Linda, honestly, any type of cover sheet is going to work. The cover sheet isn't necessarily helping the application. It's really just protecting the carrier sheet on your CAD cut design and any other printing that may be on the garment. So it's just about protecting the garment and whatever other prints might be on there. So butcher paper, craft paper, or Teflon or a non-stick sheet will work just fine for those applications. All right, any other questions there? Do I see new printed vinyl for breast cancer awareness on your table? Kristen, you do, and you did, and we applied it. So if you want to get some, you can head over to stahls.com under that CAD cut vinyl section and check out those new patterns. All right, well, that wraps it up for us. Hopefully you will be able to help your local community, help breast cancer survivors and those who are just being diagnosed by helping raise awareness and also money for research with some of the heat transfer solutions we have available at Stahls. Thanks for joining us today.